Hi everybody, welcome to the second part of the Kids on Brooms tutorial. Today we're going to be going over character creation. Now, the character creation in this game is so straightforward. You're going to need your handbook for this video, so let's jump right in. The first thing you're going to do is select a trope. The tropes are listed in the back of the handbook. Then you will make your trope selections. After that, you will introduce your character, then you will answer questions, and then you will select your finishing touches. Tropes can be found on page 82 of the handbook. Some of the tropes in the game include a loft teacher, bullhead muscle, charismatic slacker, daring athlete, doting caretaker, famous teacher, firstborn caster, and there are many more that you can choose from. If you are making your character, you are not bound by the exact definition of the trope that you are choosing. If you would like to, you can break the trope. There are a couple of stats in the game, and these stats are going to play into things like the combat and magic. So in general, brains are how book smart your character is. Brawn is how much brute strength your character has. Fight is how good at combat a character is. Charm is how socially adept a character is, and how good a character is at reading emotions. Grit is how hard it is to break a character emotionally or physically. After you go through your stats, you'll be reading about the grades. There is the underclass, the upper class, and the faculty. Now, underclass is going to get innocence strength, upper class will get the trained in strength, and faculty will get the studied in strength. For the game master, understand that some tropes are going to require your players to pick a grade. If you want to ban like faculty or underclass, or even if you just want like everybody to play underclass or everybody to play upper class, you have to look at the various tropes in the back of the book to make sure that your players still have a healthy variety of options. But you are more than welcome to ban various grades if you think it will fit your game better. But make sure to discuss with your players and see if they're on board with that idea. To continue character creation, you're going to have to choose strengths and flaws. That can be found on page 89. There is a lot of them, so I didn't list them here. If you turn to page 16, you can kind of read the guidelines for what it would take to play a different species. These are just guidelines, and species in this game do not give you any added bonuses. So you are basically just picking a cosmetic for your character. It should be decided as a group what kind of fantasy species you want present in your game, and it should also be decided as a group if you want to expand on this feature more. When I ran the game for the first time, I did give a selection of species, including humans, and I did give them bonuses because my group preferred that. Since this is a rules light system, there are no concrete rules for picking a different species. However, on page 16, it will give you some suggestions and some guidelines you should follow if you're going to put different species in your game. On page 17, you will get an introduction to including disabled or neurodiverse characters. It is only offering you suggestions. You might have to build mechanics if that is your preference. Otherwise, you can just insert them in. I recommend doing this with caution. You don't want to offend anybody at your table. And remember that the rulebook is only offering you guidelines. There are no rules for adding these characters into the game. And on page 19, you can also read about race, ethnicity, gender, and sexuality. Everything listed, with the exception of strengths and flaws, are all guidelines. They don't give you any rules. There are no stat blocks. If you want to insert something here or make rules for any of the things listed here, you can do that, but that's going to require more work on the game master's part. So let's talk about magic. There are types of magic, starting with fight. And fight is good for using magic that is meant to like attack somebody. There is flight, and that is good for hiding yourself. There is brains, and that is used for revealing something hidden or understanding something. There is brawn, and brawn is good for moving objects or keeping something protected. Charm is good for influencing someone's emotions. Keep in mind, most schools forbid the use of charm magic. The game does offer guidelines, but not really a detailed set of rules for charming people. Keep that in mind. And then there is grit, and grit is for keeping someone safe both mentally and physically. Now, magic is going to follow two rules. It's going to reflect your personality and intent, and practicing magic recklessly is going to have consequences that are usually dangerous. You can read about other magic rules on page 22 that will detail how wands are crafted. You can read on page 24 how brooms are made and how they work. And the rules for familiars are covered on page 26. I didn't cover them in this video, but if you would like me to, I can do that as well. And that is where the character creation is going to end. The character creation is not very in-depth. This is meant to be like a 10-session game, but you can run longer campaigns with it. There are suggested guidelines for even changing your characters between sessions. Thank you for watching this video, and there is one more in the series, and I will see you guys later.